So when Greg's not here, we don't do the Wayne's World. I don't have to worry about Travis like counting down with his face or his hands. It's probably a good thing.
Okay, I'm ready.
Travis, we're already going.
Oh no.
It is like when Greg is on now.
What do I do? What are these? I was waiting for an
since
intro.
we talked for an hour and 40 minutes on the first podcast where you were a guest, I think this
Just
one will probably be a
bit
little bit shorter.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Oh,
I think we covered every lead up to Power Pack we could possibly think of. Though we did make a mistake on the last podcast since we were both reading out of a graphic novel. I apparently can't read the liner notes, and the issue we did last time was not Into the Storm issue 1, but it was indeed a one-shot called Grow Up.
Yeah.
Same creative team.
Yeah.
But now we're getting into the Storm #1. So
I do want to point out another thing that I got confirmed from a reputable source. That little part at the end, right, is Gurihiru.
Okay.
So I did get that confirmed. Though I could not find that in the credits anywhere in the graphic novel.
I couldn't find it in the credits in the graphic novel, on Comixology, on Marvel Database.
But I
did not go to the Grand Comics Database to check it. I guess I could have done that. But
my source is Absolute.
Your source is Absolute.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to invoke Absolute right now? We're in the Marvel universe at the moment.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything with Absolute right now.
This, my source is an absolute source.
I mean, you're staring.
It's from the highest of the sources.
When you start talking about Absolute, I think we're getting into these.
I messaged Jude.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. All right. This is why we have creators on. Your next message to June should say, "How would you like to be a guest on?"
On what?
On this podcast.
Travis's podcast. Oh, okay.
We could invite June for issue 5 when we eventually someday get there.
I'm always scared to hit her up. She always seems so busy. Maybe I'll think about it.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, we don't have to. I mean, this is your fun, so because Power Pack's your thing. So June just made it. You're the one that loved it as a kid.
Yeah. So, all right, I'm ready though.
Okay, well, let's do this. So we're here. We just got out of, I guess we'll call it sort of issue 0.
Yeah.
And this was sort of we just got out of a reintroduction to Power Pack to a new generation. At least the 80s Power Pack, right? So we're kind of forgetting their visit to the islands in Washington, and we went back in time, and we're getting 80s Power Pack, and we're going to get a whole issue where we bring back another favorite of Travis's right into Power Pack, and somebody who's not a favorite of mine. But I'm going to say I appreciated this little guy in the book. So
I just want to point something out. For the podcast, we will be referring to this person as Tattletale.
Well, you will be. I will refer to him as Frank.
I'm doing this to protect you.
Oh, I'm not going to call him Franklin, so that'll protect me.
Yeah, it's called Tattletale. It's Tattletale.
Well, we'll get there because we do have an appearance by his obnoxious and terrible parents. So there is that.
I can't believe you talked bad about Sue.
Wow. Okay.
That's America's mom.
Right. Uh-huh. I thought it was Namor's wife.
Oh. Okay. I see where this podcast is going.
Oh, you know what's gonna? I'll just make it even worse. Do you want to guess what my favorite Fantastic Four run was? Like which author?
Is it Hickman?
Nope.
What are you two doing? Sorry.
Well, Juliet's right here. She's right next to me. Yeah. You know what? I'm not even going to tell you. I'm going to let you get on that.
I'm going to double check on this one because I think I know which one it is.
It's not a. He's no longer in vogue as a popular comics author. I'll just say that. Yeah. I mean, and It's surprised it's not Hickman and it's not Mark Waid, who are two of my favorite creators. I'll just leave it at that.
It's Bendis, isn't it?
Nope.
Millar?
Nope. No.
Oh, wait, he's not in Vogue anymore. Ellis?
Nope.
Okay, I'm done. That's all I can remember.
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. He has 2 initials and a last name.
Nope.
And it's not DeMatteis.
Okay, hang on. I'm just going to look up who else worked on the Fantastic Four. Hang on.
All right. So anyway, while we're doing that, I'll flip to the first page. So we've come out of Alex turning 13, and we're into a mini series called Power Pack Into the Storm, and we get the first issue with the story called Fireworks, and we get the whole crew charging into Travis
You're driving me nuts right now.
Tries to figure out what one of my favorite FF runs is. I think his book is behind me too, which is funny.
Everybody and their moms work on Fantastic Four, just to note.
Well, that's fair.
Literally, when I say that,
his book's right behind me, actually.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, yeah. That's some drama.
He has a lot of drama.
It's weird. That book just came up in a writer's call recently. Of like, yeah. Let's not have that conversation on this.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know it was that bad. Well, here's what I will say. That book I read in like 2 sittings.
Yeah.
It's a really good book.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's true. But it was a really good book.
It's a really good book.
Yeah. So, all
right, so
everything in there may be not true. But it was really good book.
Into the Storm.
Anyway, yeah, Charles was like, let's not go here. So, we get the fireworks, and we get the whole crew running into a cabin on the beach. And Alex tries to give away the whole team's powers by grabbing 2 giant heavy suitcases. And Dad's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm 13. Teenagers are strong. Yeah, strong-willed. I don't know, strong, but, you know, we'll roll. We'll roll with it. And we get Julie heading the pack, right? Or no, that's not Julie. Julie's in the back. That's Katie leading the pack, right?
Yep.
Julie leading the pack would make sense since she's the fastest, but she's hanging back. Oh, they put them in age order, didn't they? They tend to do that with this group too.
They do that. Also, Julie ends up always being the responsible one.
Even though she's the fastest, which is I kind of like that actually. When you say it that way, because so often, like, modern iterations of the Flash, obviously not the Silver Age Barry Allen, who was extremely responsible, but like the modern ages of Flash and Quicksilver, or not modern age, let's go like 90s on, they were not the most responsible ones, and then Bart Allen too, just because they had super speed, they made them like not responsible. And yeah, that's kind of a cool twist on it. You give the most responsible one the speed powers.
She didn't originally have the speed powers.
Well, you said they switch, right?
Yeah. Stella. Sorry.
But it's well, we flip the page, and she does kind of use the speed powers to go through the door. And I love this. I love the beginning of the book. They're teasing each other about their powers. They call Jack Cloud Boy, which is somewhat accurate. And they're just bantering back, and they're trying to find the key. And then Katie finds the key, opens the door, and they're off to start their adventure at the cabin.
I want to point something out very unusual. Yeah. The house on the next page, top left panel.
House on the left page, top left panel. You know, if this book had page numbers.
Yeah.
So you're saying page 4-ish? Yes.
Yeah. So
where they're heading to the beach.
Yeah.
And you get the background of the house.
Yeah. Just a weird thing on that one, which is in Starlight, that looks just like the house that the kids come from. with the deck and everything by the water.
And
Which is
it's completely coincidence.
it is
'Cause it was
coincidence,
drawn at the same time.
but what's also coincidental about that is that's my house.
That's your house. That's your Bremerton house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's my Bremerton house on the water. Yeah, at the beach.
Did you know, on this podcast, if you mention Bremerton, you have to mention a certain band?
No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. I mean, it's Greg's favorite band. Remember, I said he was going to send out a CD from this band with every
Yeah, no.
issue of Absolute Zero's Camp Launchpad. And they're your favorite band because they
Nope.
tell people to move to Bremerton.
No one should ever move to Bremerton.
But I mean, I know MXPX was the toast of all of your raves
No,
that you ever hosted.
they were gone by the time I moved out there.
Well, I mean, I think they were gone before they started. But that's a well. Anyway, we're back here. I think I'm starting to learn the tropes because
Okay.
they go into the water, and Katie gets hit by something, and her powers turn on.
Yeah. Okay. Also, side note, again, we're seeing the Marvel way right away, right? Because they're literally reminding everyone who everyone is, who everyone's powers is, and what everyone's relationship is in the first 3 pages.
So anybody can pick this book up and instantly jump in.
Yep.
And they're going to do it again here in a page and a half.
Looks like my headset's finally worn out.
Well, see, it's okay. I can only hear myself all the words, but it's cool.
Yeah.
We'll just have to get you a new headset. So
Yeah. This one's a couple years old, so. All right.
that's why I just used the Bluetooth and the cool microphone. But we are flipping the page, and we get Dan's favorite character in all of comics,
Tattletale.
sleeping away.
Yep.
And he's dreaming about a lizard lady. It looks like a brood.
Yep.
And he wakes up and he's like, oh man, I can't tell my parents about these dreams. Well, first he says, I got to tell Daddy and Mommy and Uncle Johnny and Uncle Ben. And they let you know right away, too, where Travis is talking about it, because they've got the big Fantastic Four tower there. That is the Baxter building, correct?
Yep.
Ha! See, I know some Fantastic Four.
I don't really know that much. I struggled
little.
with Fantastic Four a lot. I feel
think-
like the Hickman run is the only run I can kind of remember enjoying, and I think I have it laying, like the graphic, the trades for it laying around somewhere.
I think Fantastic Four is one of those things that when it launched, I wouldn't say it was like amazing, but it was amazing in the sense that it was the first book that came out for Marvel, right before Spider-Man, before the relaunch of the Avengers, right? And so Fantastic Four launches the Silver Age for Marvel. But if you go back and read a couple of those original stories, there's some amazing Jack Kirby art, but didn't they lead with the Mole Man in the very first issue?
Yeah.
Like, it was not like they were leading with like some really creative villains, but what was cool about the Fantastic Four is it had the same dynamic as this book in the sense that you had a family and the reader got to follow this pseudo dysfunctional family where you had Reed and Sue, right? And then you had Johnny and Ben always fighting, right? And then they spun off Johnny and he would show up all over the place, right? Wasn't it like issue 4-ish of Spider-Man where he just shows up and him and Spider-Man just get in a giant argument for the entire issue? Like, it was super early on in Amazing Spider-Man.
I'm just going to point out that that's an era of comics where I wasn't alive.
Yeah. Well, and
I don't
and
have
that's the
interest in
fun.
going back and look, but I will say this. Did I already tell you the story of the time I was working at a comic book shop and a Fantastic Four showed up, number 1?
Wow.
Here's what happened. I'm like barely 18. I'm working at this little comic book shop. It's like I worked there at a video store at the same time, right? And this guy calls up and he's like, hey, would you guys be interested in a Fantastic Four number 1? And I'm like, not really. Like, all these number 1s that are coming out right now, to give an idea when the period was, right? Like, we have plenty of them. He's like, no. I mean, like the old school, like a real one. Like the first number one, like the introduction. He's like, yeah, like, hang on. So I like put him on hold, called my boss, and he's like pulling out the freaking was it Beaker Street or whatever, looking it up at a time.
Overstreet.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, don't pay him more than 1,200. I'll come by. Tell him you're interested. I'll come by and drop off the cash while I'm running errands. I'm like, all right, cool. So I call the guy back. I'm like, if you have it, we are interested, right? If you want to come back down to the store and show it to me so I can evaluate it. Didn't tell him I had the cash or anything. And so I let him go. He's going to be there in a couple hours or whatever. The boss drives by. $1,200 was a lot of money back then, right? And he's like, don't give him more than 1,200, being like, that is the highest price we're going to pay for Fantastic Four #1, right? And it better be mint. Like, this is before things could be slated, and it better be like a 9.9.
Right.
So I put the money in the register, locked everything up. He takes off. The guy comes by. I'm like, okay, cool. This sounds really cool, right? He whips it out, and I look at it, I go, cover's laminated.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They had laminated the cover.
Oh my God.
Like, destapled it, the spine, took it to a library or something, and ran it through a traditional laminator, and then restapled it at some point.
Ugh.
To protect it and its
Right.
value, so it wouldn't get
Yeah.
damaged.
And see, the way I'm reacting is as the money thing, but I should be reacting every time I read a forum when somebody puts up a comic and is like, do you think this group of books is worth anything? And I kind of want to say, well, it depends on what you are getting the comic for. Do you want to read the comics? Or do you want to sell the comics? Because a whole stack of comics is worth a lot. I've got a whole room full of comics that aren't worth fuck all that are great to read.
Yeah, that's why
And
I
I've
buy
got a
comics.
few in here that are worth a lot.
All the ones I have that are worth a lot are damaged because I read them.
Right. That's part of the
I've moved to
challenge too.
trades,
A lot of the ones that are worth a lot were read over and over again because they were great books.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, that was my Fantastic Four story. Let's move on. So we got the Fantastic Four family. I love cats is my favorite image here. Also, Sue looks adorable while she's also getting her coffee. It's very family-esque.
And the parallel is very clear, right? And Franklin jets out and he's like, they're all talking about him being safe. He hears them and he's like, oh, I can't tell them. I got to go. And so Franklin goes back to bed and back to his dreams. And, I think it's interesting because I don't want to stray too far away, but in both universes, DC and Marvel, right? Obviously with Franklin, they did it much earlier in the 90s, right? But they also did it with Identity Crisis in DC, where anytime you start messing with somebody's brain, and you start erasing memories or putting blocks on stuff, it doesn't go well long term. It just doesn't go well long term. Probably just best to teach people to deal with trauma.
I'd agree with that. I do want to point out, though, at least they're consistent with the character of Franklin here, which is he's 4 years old and he's already thinking through how to play chess with his parents.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting because if I was going to write a kid, I would not write kids like this. That's not what I've witnessed from children, right? And Franklin is a genius, supposedly, right? Yeah. Savior of the universes.
Well, right? He is Reed's son.
So it's just interesting that, again, the consistency in the writing on Power Pack is always great because of what's her name? Brain died. Anyway,
Louise Simonson. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's so good to see that. And you believe it with Franklin if you're a comics books fan. But I do wonder if someone wants to pick up this comic and try to read that, who doesn't have any idea who Franklin is, the history of Franklin, and sees Franklin going through those series of thoughts and how to manipulate around the situation, how well that would go over with someone who wasn't into that character. Just one of those things.
Yeah, and I'll say too, and I just bit into a trope too. I'm going to call myself out because I go, oh, well, he is Reed's son, but he's also Sue's son. And you had 4 astronauts that were all equally like the whole idea of Fantastic Four getting their power, and everybody even forgets how intelligent theoretically Johnny should be too, right?
I'm just
Because
saying.
you
Reed is
had,
number 4 in the Marvel universe as an intelligence. Sue is
yeah,
like 9. There's not a
yeah, and
It's
that's
so
and
weird
that's
they do that, by the way.
yeah. Well, they do it in DC too, and I won't get into the DC ones, but yeah,
Mr.
right now,
Terrific.
but yeah,
He's the second
number
smartest
3,
or third smartest person in the
third
world.
smartest person.
Yeah.
I knew. Yep, that's where I was going.
And it was like, come on, man. This is so weird that we do like, do they go in and have like some super like computer thing calculate and be like, "Whoa, okay, you are number 2,695,613. Great score,
Well,
dude. You're in the
we're gonna
top."
find out we're gonna find out very quickly who is not in the top 10 of smarts in the Marvel universe, because we flipped the page, and our buddy Kofi is back.
Oh, come on, man. I'm gonna look him up in the Marvel rating system.
Well, he was smart enough to get into a special school,
And he's
so
too young to be in it. I'm just pointing that out.
yeah. So I love the visual of his powers on this page.
Yeah.
Like how he's just kind of flipping in and out of things. Kind of like this.
Yeah. Oh, hello. Go ahead.
And we have a cat visitor.
Yeah, we have a cat who looks like he wants to be on Dad's lap, but he's just hanging
Well,
out.
that's what
instead.
happens. I have a dog that does that too, so. But we're finding out, we get some more exposition here. A lot of exposition. These couple pages are probably my least 2 favorite pages of the issue, but you're going to tell me as a writer that all that text is needed, right?
Are we on the whole thing of giving the background of the Snarks and the
Yep.
and the Chameleon? Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the deal. This is kind of doing the same thing, right? The audience doesn't know who these people are. And you need to get this all out right now because the rest of the story has to happen. So we're putting all the pieces in place quickly as possible and trying to do it in the least exposition way possible. So yes, these sometimes do feel a little bit forced, because it has a vibe of, as you know, which, by the way,
Yeah.
people do say in real life. That's a real thing. I don't know why they act like people don't say that now, but it is way overly used. But yeah, but you're also in a situation where these books are meant for a younger, not child audience, but like a teen audience who's like looking at kid superheroes. You need to get them up to speed. They're not like us. They're not going to go here and go, "Oh, look at this. Very exposition in 2 pages." No, man. They're going to go like, "Oh, so he's a snark. Oh, and he's friends with Coffee's, dad, and he's an ambassador. Normally these 2 races don't get along, but they're the peacekeepers of the universe." That's necessary here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I can buy into that. I think my biggest issue with this is June Brigman's backgrounds here are really beautiful, and they're also really establishing this sort of cosmic world that we're going to be in for a lot of this miniseries. And then we threw a bunch of word balloons over them.
Okay, yeah, it does go a little Chris Claremont here, but it's okay. I mean,
And we love it when Chris Claremont threw his word bubbles over that, beautiful Dave Cockermar too, right?
I will just, I have listened to Tom talk about that many times.
Yes. But basically, Travis just lined out what we're setting up in the book. So what's getting set up is we've got Coffee, and he's going to a special cool science school. And then his friend, well, not friend yet, but his friend is going to go there, a future friend, but a snark. And she's not supposed to go because, well, she's supposed to go, but she's a disappointment because she was supposed to be like this warrior princess. Because apparently in the original series, Power Pack took down a rival clan and then put her family in power, right?
Yep.
So that's where we're at. So we've got Snarks, and you're going to say the other guy's name, the Chameleon. Camellia, not, there's no R, Dan. Chimelia.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Chimelias and Snarks. And Snarks are lizard people, and Camellias are horse people. We good there?
Yeah, I just want to point something out real quick. I was not taking a dig at Chris Claremont's writing when I said that.
Wow.
I just don't want that to be taken out of context there.
Travis, it's okay. We take a dig at literally everyone on this podcast.
Yeah, I don't want that, though.
so
I like all
if you
these
listen to
guys, man.
Well, I like all of them too, but it doesn't mean that they're perfect and that everything they did was amazing.
There's a lot. You know what it is? It's that first panel with Coffee and his uncle, I think, or his dad or whatever. Whitey was his uncle, that's right. Anyways,
yeah,
there's a beautiful piece of art there, and yeah, there is a lot of text right down the center of that piece.
Yep.
But at the same time, that is the only area in that frame where there's room to put the text because there's so much activity going on. So
Correct.
well placed bubbles, but man, that's a lot of text.
Well, and we flipped a page, and the last thing on the page is we're kind of setting up some of the story for the rest of the 5 issues. And we get the Snark saying, "Nor do I am, and I'm pleased to see a Snark clan turn from war to learning." So we've got a setup, right?
Yep.
So somebody in this story is making a change for their civilization, right?
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Oh man, this next page has beautiful panels.
Yeah.
Like
Are
the
you talking
layout
about
of the
FF
page
and the beach. Yep.
Yeah, this is really well done. Like
as Travis slobbers over all the art in these books.
This one is really the panel work, just the choice of where these panels are, how the layout of the page is. Like, this is really using the medium. Like, there are a few people who really understand panels, in my opinion, well. You know what I'm saying? That's something like I've learned working with a lot of independent people and stuff, because it's the only place I end up, is most of the people I work with don't understand how important panels are as part of the narrative.
Yeah.
You know, and this is a flex, you know. I mean, there's only a few people that I could think of. Trying to remember the Batwoman series with the real mystical stuff and the White Queen, and turns out to be her. Anyways, those panels are amazing in my opinion. Anything my friend Richard does with his books, he has just amazing panel choice and layout, because you're using the panels as part of the structure of the narrative. But on top of that, June, like I said, June really knows how to overlap things better than just about anyone. You know, like, she's not stuck in the frame, but when she chooses to break something out of the panel frame, or the stroke, I guess is the correct term there, when she makes those choices, they're really well made. They give it the feeling of almost a 3-dimensional part of the story. Things pop where they should as part of the narrative. Oh, I love it. I just love it. This is why I love comics as a medium.
Also with the panels too, like and you can tell me if this is bullshit, but I was always told that if you have to put an arrow to show people how to read the panels, you've fucked up.
Yeah.
There is no need for arrows here. Like, it is very clearly laid out, and the storytelling moves right along, and it's very easy to see how it moves.
I'm gonna point something else out here real fast.
Even though the panels are complex. Sorry, I just wanted to finish the thought there.
This book, especially this issue, is doing something really smart. We're establishing, right? And then both pages in 2-page spreads are consistent as, think of like a paragraph in a book. They're completing one idea. The next in the coloring, everything, right? Works together. I open the next 2 pages, I'm completing an idea, right? She even takes the time to establish, or the writer tells it is, but we have a good establishing moment, so we know where everybody is. both these pages have a color theme. Go to the next one where we're at the Fantastic Four. The color theming is the same, consistent again, and we're looking at 2 full pages, completing a paragraph or an idea of the story. We get to the Snark page with this green, so we've gone from blue. So the spread is orange.
And
kind of
before
a
we get to the or to the Science
blue.
Academy,
Yeah.
one quick thing to point out too, because I pointed out on the last one, they establish a piece for the entire miniseries with mentioning the young Princess Diana going to school for learning, right, and kind of breaking that up. We also get at the last panel where they're setting up the story that you were pointing out, where Mom is terrified at the idea that her kids would have powers.
Yeah, I've always said it's a terrible idea.
And we're going to run through both of those. Spoilers, sorry, on a book that's been out for a few years now, but we're going to run through those themes through all 5 issues.
Very true. I'm
and
gonna
keep
point
tying back to them, and well established, right? It's like you said, it's simple storytelling that gets you right to the point that they want you to maintain through the rest of the book.
Dan?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a weird question here?
Uh-huh.
I don't read a lot of modern Marvel, but
I don't either.
I thought Marvel banned thought bubbles. But even if they did, I don't think they would stop it for Power Pack, because how the heck are we going to talk to Franklin?
So most of them, both of the companies generally have been using the square boxes.
Yeah,
as
the narrative
opposed to
box.
thought puzzles. Yeah, I would say pretty much since the success of Identity Crisis by Brad Metzler, where Green Arrow is just doing that the whole book, right, and is narrating it that way without the thought bubbles. I know that wasn't the first book to do that, so I'm not claiming that.
I just haven't
but
seen
since
thought bubbles in a long time.
Yeah, since the extreme success of that story, I don't remember seeing many thought bubbles since that. And it is just it is
the
just
thought
an
cloud,
easy
I think,
way.
is the correct term, by the way. We just don't see them that often.
Yeah. I think I do probably prefer the narrator boxes to a thought bubble. I also like how the narrator boxes can be placed anywhere on a page without disrupting the art. And you can mark the character just by changing the color of the box. I always thought that was just a really smart thing. And again, it probably showed up before this, right? Probably somebody screaming at me going, Dan, it was here. But Identity Crisis was the series where I really remember that being just brilliantly used, right? As you learned about the different members of the Justice League and how they had run through their decisions on why to brainwash somebody, and you're getting those narrations there, and it would flip per character. That's where I remember it. Do you remember it showing up anywhere else before that?
I remember. Sorry. I just remember getting a note that since I was submitting to Marvel, I could not use thought bubbles or thought clouds. So, and that was years and years ago.
That would have been years before that. Those books came out too.
Because I thought
it could be my over-indexing on DC too.
I do want to do again. I was just getting into this a second ago. Nolan Woodward is the colorist on this book. And it is just amazing. Blue. Now I'm in 2 pages of green. I'm going to hold the book up real quick so the people watching the video can see what I'm talking about. I think that if you're going to make comics, you need to be aware of things like this, right? So we're completing a thought, and we have a consistent color theme happening on both pages, right? And then we're going to move to the next one, and we're moving to the Baxter Building, and right, we're going to complete the thought and use both pages and keep the colors consistent.
Yep.
Right, we're going to move to the next story, the next paragraph, if you will, in the book. Right, and we're all green themed and brown. Right, looks like ElfQuest actually. Okay, and just this, and then we're at the beach, and we have these soft kind of mellow, cyan feeling hues, right? Beautiful work. So like, these are things that are important because, and I admit I've done this because sometimes it's just, I got so many pages and there's some tricks around this, but good consistent storytelling, understanding the left and the right page, understanding what the page turn does, understanding that, two pages are going to be seen at the same time. You need to be aware of that when you're writing your script,
Yeah.
and you need to be aware of that page turn is going to do a reveal with the right side first, and then the back side is going to be revealed second. Understanding that and using that to your advantage when you're developing your book is just next level for a lot of people. This is just proof that this is a very, very experienced team. And now I'm embarrassed because, by the way, when I was looking for the credits and we were looking for them on the last podcast, Hiru is right here.
Right in the book. Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
No, I feel dumb. And
Well, why do you feel dumb though? You called it out and credited them.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's
I just want to make sure. I'm really big on credit, and I just want to. This is a pretty page.
I'll also say I will also say on the next page too, again, the color scheme changes again.
Yeah.
And I like how they're coloring the planets differently too. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, to really distinguish that. I think when you do any sort of cosmic, you really need to have established backgrounds for each planet that you go to. So it doesn't just feel like the same dark universe or the same happy universe that you're going through.
Yeah.
And I think they did a really amazing job here too. With
we're gonna come up some. There's the trick. One of the tricks is going to talk about, but okay.
Yeah. Well,
so go ahead. I'll let you lead again.
Well, I was just gonna say we're here, and I was just gonna summarize these pages really quickly. We're just establishing more characters, right? So we're on the Intergalactic Academy of Science, and Coffee meets I always forget now. I've forgotten her name. It's
What? Say again?
Dejina, right? It sounds like a Jin. Is it Jinna or Dejina, do you think?
Man, that's the double consonant in a name used for alien race names. That's a fairly common thing that I don't know how to help you with.
All right. Well, we'll go Jinna. We'll do it like a Jin, like a.
The D is silent.
With the D is silent, yeah. So we'll roll with that. But yeah, so we established that we established their friendship extremely quickly. A bully comes up and starts to bully her, and Coffee steps in. And then we find out she has this cool device that she could have used to scare him. But she's just getting really comfortable in her skin and is trying to embrace being a, future leader of a planet. But she's not there yet. And that's why she's here, and she wants to learn more. And her mom's not super thrilled, but, I like this, Travis. Like, I think it's a neat way to start the story. And to your point, by this point, so we're about halfway through this first issue, right? And we have established every character that you need to know for the next 4 issues.
Yeah. Also, going back to the art, again, on this page particularly, she is like a lizard creature, which is a snark, right? And I can tell she's a teenage girl.
Yeah.
Right? I can tell Coffee's a teenage boy, right? I didn't mean to gender class them like that, but I'm just saying, like, visually, they're gender enough to know that she's probably going to have a sweet. I can see this bully is also just a teenager of whatever race this is, even though it's a large creature.
Yes.
By the way it's holding itself, the way it's dressed, right? June does an excellent job conveying age in Anamorphic Characters. It's crazy looking at this right now, at these characters on this whole sequence of pages, and seeing that I can anamorphize these creatures in a way that's understandable for what I'm looking at, and I can identify that who's young, who's old, who's everything in these types of characters. That's something that I do see when people do anamorphized characters. in other
Yep.
books, and I'm just like, okay, well, they all look terrible to me. Or they'll draw like this creature, and it turns out it's a baby, but like there was no
It doesn't.
anything gave me any hint of that.
And I think, you're apologizing for gendering the characters, but I do think with their language and interactions, they're giving you that feeling too. And if you're basing it off societal norms, which I know that's what we're apologizing for, but
Yes.
you do get that feeling. So it seems intentional, right? Like
It does. It does. That's why I didn't feel
Yeah.
too bad, but I wanted to make sure that I just said I'm not trying, because something might come out later and we find out like one of these character types is gender neutral. I have that in my book. The race just doesn't have genders. And so I don't know if that's true yet in the story at this point.
Well, we don't know. We're gonna find
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
and that's the fun of reading comics.
All right, so here we go. Sorry.
We're almost ready to start our story, and I mean, start the adventure, and because the Fantastic Family is leaving.
Well, I want to point something else out real fast. Again, right? So we got this thing. We have a setup here on the page.
Yeah,
This is Simonson, Louise, just doing excellent work, right? So when I turn that page, right away, bam, that's the reveal, okay? But the other thing they're doing here is this is an establishing that we're still on this world. See the colors that we're using on the side? All right?
Yep.
But we're not going to get to use that other page and continue the story because we're going to end it down here. So we're going to do a nice little cliffhanger at the bottom. But then on the sharing the spread, we're going to start in the middle of the spread, in a spread instead of taking advantage of the page turn as a spread. And we get an establishing shot, and we have a new color theming going on to establish this as a new paragraph. We even have a little meanwhile.
You've done this to me too. Now I'm looking at the colors really closely too. And in addition to what you said for this change in the paragraph, it's clearly sunset.
Yep.
You're clearly transitioning from day to night. Like they've had a full fun day. And the color is setting that off. And I didn't notice that the first time I read the book. I just felt it.
Yeah.
I did. And that's good coloring, right? When I'm not thinking about the coloring, I just know this is the end of the day.
Everybody's hitting on all cylinders here and doing it the Marvel way.
It's a pretty book.
Oh, so good. This next page.
Just full stop. All right, so Franklin gets left with the team, right? And the Fantastic Four are off. So our story is set, right? We've got Franklin isolated with the Power family. We've got the Science Academy. We've got the new friends. And from here, we know an adventure is going to happen. We just don't know what's going to happen yet. Bam, we turn the page. And this is the one you're saying is pretty, right?
Oh, my God. Again, the colors, the theme, the panel work. We can see, we get a sense of time in this one like we haven't seen. You literally can feel the beats happening. So good.
And
action.
Yeah, and they're going to run off planet.
I love this cute little green ship.
And she's very proud of her little green ship too.
It's like your first car, like a teenager with her bug.
Yeah, and Coffee's just giving her crap about it too. It's not like Friday, who crashes all the time and is super smart.
Very
this ship, she's like, look at it go.
Look at it go. Look how cool I am. I got my own ship. Like every teenager I know, man.
And of course, as soon as they take off, her sister's waiting there with the bigger ship, ready to blast them to oblivion. Or it's not her sister, right? Is it her cousin?
I think it's her cousin, yeah.
Cousin, yeah. And we're establishing a little story here. Again, we've got some family clan we established it. They established it before. We've got the clan rivalry going on. And I know you're going to love the transition from the planet to outer space too here on the scene.
So good. It's just right. You're so happy right now staring at this.
And we got a space battle going on.
Yeah.
And Coffee's idea, of course, because this is a Power Pack book, is, oh, well, we've got to escape. and I know how to get to Earth. So let's go. Because
That's what you have to do. Yes, that is another thing here. But that's just like a Marvel trope right there, right?
Yeah.
Like how many great stories start out with two characters being in trouble and them being like, we need to get back to the the mansion. We need to get back to Earth. We need to get back to blah blah blah. And then they cut to like like I don't know, Jean Grey and Cyclops, sipping coffee, having a normal morning for a page or so, and bam, in the kitchen, and then we have a 26 issue run.
And the Starjammers are here.
Oh,
Hooray.
you know exactly what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I mean, yes, I do know what you're saying. And the reason I know what you're saying too is obviously that's a
Our
famous
jammers
scene.
are here.
And then also, I'm a big Legion nerd, so Dave Cockrum drew. You know this, right? Dave Cockrum drew the Legion in X-Men because the Shi'ar Imperial Guard is
Yeah.
the Legion. It's
Oh.
like person for once you see, if you go back and see the teams next to each other, you'll never unsee it. Like somebody had to point it out to me, and then I was like, "Holy crap!" He just drew the Legion because he still wanted to draw the Legion when he went to Marvel, and he just drew it in the X-Men.
Yeah.
Anyway, fun facts. But anyway, we're staying with Power Pack now. We get Franklin wakes up in the middle of the night to let Alex know the monsters in the dream. Alex and Jack know the monsters in the dream that he had are coming to Earth right now.
Again,
And they all fly out in their fantastic moon boots.
cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Establishing and telling us where we're at again. Right? And color difference. This paragraph is this color, this red, this magenta thing going on, right? And this here, even though it's still at night. So that's really smart because both these are taking place in dark areas, but the colorist and the art is taking advantage here. I don't know if this is purposeful or not. I'm going to assume it is because, again, these are some of the best, right? They don't want to have two blue pages. They need the story to change here, right? So we have a lot of magenta going on here to show, and then we have a nice cliffhanger because we know we're going to share the splash.
And we get the beautiful beach scene, except now it's nighttime, and so the coloring has changed in the background too. I love the fact that we have multiple times of the day shown by the same colorist. Boom.
We're
book.
seeing the day go by.
And the ship crash lands on the beach, and out plops Jenna and Coffee. And more establishment, right? He quickly introduces her to the group. And they're just kind of dumbfounded for a second.
Yeah.
But here comes the other giant ship behind them. I feel like we're gonna set up a cliffhanger for the next issue pretty soon. And out pops Princess Dejina and famous Coffee too. This is my lucky day. You two will be my prisoners, but Power Pack, the monsters who destroyed my mother, will die.
Such a great picture, man. Look at that bird.
Yep. And let's face it, we always love it when Blackfire and Starfire are fighting.
So good. What?
I went Teen Titans on you.
Don't do that.
Well,
so good.
Well, this is the last page. And we are set up for the future issues. So, Travis.
Yeah.
I don't think I need to ask, but your thoughts on issue 1 as a story.
Man, I just love Power Pack so much. That's so dirty. I read that when it came out, and I had the floppy somewhere, and just the next one I really like too, because we probably understand some Storm stuff. Anyways, and just reading it again today, and just like looking at like when I was a kid reading comics, I would catch on to things, but as I've gotten older, and I've written a few now, and I enjoy it a lot. It's just so fun for me to look at it with a completely different eye and just get a big grin over either A, them accidentally stumbling into something brilliant, because I can never tell sometimes, like, I don't know how many times I've been talking to another writer or team, and I'm like, hey, that was really smart the way you did this thing on the thing and the thing. And they're like, yeah, that was smart. That's just how it worked out, right? Is that I've totally built it up in my head, which is fine. I've gapped it. But just seeing that team again, firing and understanding their characters, loving their characters, understanding what works for them. And like I said before, there's just that whole thing of understanding that Power Pack can get weird,
Yeah.
and just to let it happen.
I would also just say it's I've said this a lot recently with Greg, but I think it is exciting that there's a lot of books now that are just fun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need everything to be like Alan Moore Batman.
Oh man, I am. One of the things I've said before, and I think I've talked to you about it when we were working on Starlight, which is I am over the deconstructed superheroes.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. I wanted to reconstruct a deconstructed superhero to see if I could do it. But I want to, when I buy comics, when I see a movie, I want to escape my life. I don't want to
Yes.
escape into a worse life most of the time. Other people might, and that's fine. Those comics are for them, right? But me personally, I feel like I'm living in D is for Vendetta. I don't feel like reading it.
Yeah, and in DC right now, you have a stark contrast of people leading that universe, and which is interesting. And obviously, I mean, I'll leave Williamson out of it for a second, but from a writing standpoint, you've got a very different writing standpoint right now going on in DC Comics between, I'm talking right now, 2025, between Scott Snyder and Mark Waid. Running very different, but they're managing to link things together. And I think it's very interesting right now because Scott Snyder runs a little bit darker. Waid can run dark. I've got some dark Mark Waid right behind me, like Uncorruptible and that stuff, the independent stuff he did. But his are much more brighter. Like, he's running flashbacks and just kind of throwing stories in the universe as they go. Bringing back the Justice League, putting them on the satellite, making it like the cartoon. Like doing stuff like that. Yeah. And so it's just a very different, it's kind of interesting to see how those things are writing together. But I'll just go back to the thought we were having is I had a little operation on my arm today, and I came home and read all these tonight because they were fun, and I didn't feel like I had to digest them. And Greg and I, a few episodes ago, and it seemed like these episodes lasted an eternity, when we were going back through Flex Metallo, and I'm like, we're reading deconstructed superheroes, and I'm just like dying every time I have to read one of these books. It feels exhausting. These books are not exhausting. They're fun.
That makes me feel really good because I do love when people find Power Pack, especially as an adult. I think it has on Gen Xers especially. It reminds you of being a kid and being wowed and not overthinking it. Like there are great comics that do that. I think you should read all those too, right? But I also want in my life something where I'm watching it feel like I'm reading the kinds of adventures I used to play through as a kid. Because when we played as kids, we met, was it pretend, right? I forgot the word pretend. That's how my brain works. When you played pretend, right? You were kids and you were playing. A lot of times you'd play kids who had superpowers and you'd have these weird things and all this other stuff. And here's something else too that I really respect on the writing on this, which is when I played pretend as a kid, we did not have weird stuff like the booger monster or, just stupid stuff you see adult writers
Yeah.
they're thinking like a kid. When we were kids, it was serious to us when we were pretending to have superpowers. It was serious to us when a monster was coming to get us and we had to hide on the porch or the monster. That's how pretend works. It's not all like, oh, kids are so adorable. They invent, giant squirrely monsters. Okay, that's because that's all the skill the kid has to draw is the squirrely monster. It
Right.
doesn't mean that they're running from a squirrely monster. They're trying to give you an expression of what they're pretending, which more than likely is 100 times more serious in their head and important than you're giving them credit for when you replicate it with the squirrely monsters.
Yeah. And it's interesting, and maybe I'll finally get around to finishing writing my book, but I've shared some of my scary dreams with you, which I
Yeah.
was writing into one of a book. They're terrifying. I don't always want that when I'm reading, right? I want the fun dreams I had as a kid, and not just the make-believe, but play. I don't know if you dreamt about superheroes when you were a kid reading comic books, but when I was having happy dreams, we were the superheroes winning.
Yeah.
You
Right.
weren't, you weren't, you weren't deconstructing the superhero. You weren't dying. And my nightmares were my nightmares. Those were different, and they didn't usually involve superheroes. And I think
Right.
I want that feeling. So when I read a book, a lot of the time, I don't always need it to be dark and brooding and angry. And this is
Right.
not. It's fun.
No. And the thing is like, if I was a kid reading this, I'd still be happy, because like, oh, ooh, the snarks. Oh, ooh, that's Coffee's dad. Oh, that's, and I'd be getting into it, because I'm not fighting booger monsters,
Yep.
But then what the frick, man? Stop doing that. When you write something for children, it does not have to be children-like or
And
your
kids,
interpretation of it.
the other thing I would just say in reading these books too is teens and kids don't always have to argue.
No. The banter's fun. That's
The
real.
banter is fun. They're bantering like kids, but they're not. And it's okay if they get in a family conflict at some point, right? That can happen, but it doesn't need to be all the time.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that about the book too, the way this is written.
The banter
I'm
takes
just,
place when it should happen in reality. Like,
yeah.
all of you running up excited to get to the door. There's a banter point. That's where kids banter, family banters.
And the jealousy in the first issue we read when
Right.
Alex is getting all the attention for his birthday, right? That
Right.
makes sense. There's going to be some feelings of jealousy there. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should wrap this one up because we're going to go on to another issue soon. Travis and I will start. We will work to record all 5 of these issues. I guess 6 total, right? Because we start.
I want to point out, if we do this, though, we have to end it by watching the Power Pack television pilot.
We could do a watch along with Greg on that.
Yeah.
I think that would be fantastic.
It won't be fantastic.
We could do that, but we could do that before we end it. I will say, plugs. Let's see if I remembered all the plugs that are happening. Kickstarter, Nemesis.
Oh, yeah. The Nemesis.
Pune?
Just put in Nemesis. Yeah. Albert Pune's Nemesis. And then
And you had another book, and I totally forgot.
it's an anthology called Bad Future. Same thing. Just type in Bad Future on Kickstarter. Actually, I worked on that today, so that was fun.
Awesome.
Well, I didn't work. I organized the letterer, the colorist, and the artist because there was being in the independent world. There's not someone to actually manage your book, so as the writer, you end up being the person that manages everything, and not the publisher.
You need a Dan, and so we just need your writing projects to be big enough. You can just put me on salary. Then I'll
I just want to be my writing projects big enough to where I can hand off my book and move on to the next one, and not think about the production after that, other than if they have red lines.
And we'll go to that. And then anything else you're promoting right now? Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce?
No, no, good. Oh, I brought something to wear though. I found this. Hang on. Okay, you ready?
Yeah,
You ready?
I'm very ready. I never
Can you
know.
see me?
You all not yet. No, you have to.
You can't
stand
see
back
me,
up.
right?
No, I cannot see you.
Okay, cool.
There. Oh, are we selling those?
What?
Are we selling those?
No.
You selling those?
No.
No.
There's probably like 20 of them in existence. Greg, Brett, and I have 3 of the 20, I think.
Oh, there you go. So
I just happened to have it because I had it shipped down for a convention for someone to wear at the convention. I would never wear this thing, but I was just so happy.
fantastic. See, so Starlight's back right now. You can also buy Starlight still.
Yeah, you technically still buy it, yes.
You can just go to Starlight.
It's on Amazon.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's on your website too.
Yep.
So we've got that. Let's see. I don't have anything to plug right now. You could always still support Greg by picking up a copy of Absolute Zero's Camp Launchpad. And we're getting toward the end of the summer here, but fun, cool summer kid story that adults can read too. Those are the best kind of stories.
You know, Dan, we'd
And,
be plugging your book if you finished your book.
Well, I would be, but then I'd have to sit down and finish it, and then that's the challenge.
I don't
And
know if
so-
I ever told you the greatest writing advice I ever got from Burrow Bear.
Just right.
No. 95% of all unfinished novels don't get published.
That's amazing. Yeah. I like the just right scenario too. So, but yeah, no, I'll finish my book. I promise. It'll happen
All right.
someday. And
If you need to fly down and spend a couple days, I'll lock
That
you in a
could
room
happen.
with an Alpha Smart.
that could happen. That pretty much happened to me when I finished my dissertation in grad school too. So
You had an Alpha Smart and you sat in a room with an Alpha Smart?
not with an Alpha Smart, but
Yeah.
we didn't have those then. But I was at a national debate tournament, and the person running the tournament locked me in a room and wouldn't let me judge rounds until I finished my writing.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and
I might do that to you.
was one of the nicest things somebody did. Help me get done. So I was doing edits. So anyway, I think I'm sitting in a basement. Well, not hanging out, but I will plug 2 more things before we get out of here. Of course, you could go see Greg and Ann at the Retro Emporium on Meeker Street in Kent, Washington. So if you want to see Greg in real life, he's there sometimes. Sometimes the Squatcho Man is there as well. And Greg never seems to be there when the Squatcho Man is there. Travis, do you have any insights on this?
This is the first time I've heard of the Squatcho Man.
The Squatcho Man was once
I'm
the
the worst
employee
writing
of the
partner.
month. Yeah, he was once the employee of the month at the Retro Emporium.
Oh, man. I miss being home up in Washington.
Well, next time the Squatcho Man shows up, we could always just invite you back. And then, and of course, a big supporter of the podcast, Jiu-Jitsu lawyer Paul. We appreciate Paul and all of his both legal support for various Greg projects. I don't think he's had to run legal support for Travis yet. Or
We're
that
good.
I know of. So let's not talk about that. And we'll leave that out of that. And you can find Paul on Jackson and 27th / Bridgeport and 27th in Tacoma, Washington / University Place. There's a lot of slashes there, but you could go find Paul there if you ever need some legal support too. So he's been a big help to Greg with a couple of things, and he'll help you out with employment law too if you need some help. So, folks, we appreciate it. Shout out to our listeners. We appreciate you, and we'll be back on another episode. I don't know what will come out next, if it will be Travis and I doing issue 3, or if it'd be Greg and I or issue 2, or Greg and I doing Booster Gold #1. But there'll be something that happens on Funny Book Forensics after this, and we'll be back to talk to you later. Alpha Flight.